Yeah, I react really badly to adhesives. Like Band-Aids, they will leave huge welts and red spots on the sticky part for days after I take them off. Or like second skin for tattoos, I haven't used that because I get really odd reactions with those. Ooh, or KT tape, like that one. Ooh, I need KT tape, but like it hates me at the same time. So yeah, I have a huge headache. I was walking in the mall earlier and I got a big whiff of the fragrance section and it messed me up. Oh, look at that. Hives again. Okay, interesting. I didn't even touch anything this time. Oh, I don't know what it is. I am overheating. I feel so hot. Uh, I don't know. It smells like cinnamon in here. I don't know if, for some reason, that like really apple cinnamony, like red hot smell really bothers me and it makes me so hot immediately and like I get like feverish and ugh. No, seriously, I'm fine. I promise. I know I reacted that one time, but I've had it a ton in between and nothing happened. So I don't even know if I actually reacted to that or if it was something else. Like, I don't know. It's super weird. I have all these random reactions sometimes and it really throws me off.
Hey, my friend has something else to say to you and I need you to listen. If you were doing this for attention, you would be able to stop whenever you wanted. You are not making this up, you're not lying, you're not going crazy, and you're not being dramatic. I believe you. Okay, I love you, bye.
Why is it always trans people with dyed hair and piercings that claim to be disabled? You know what, I actually agree with you. There's so many trans people that are disabled, but did you know there's an actual reason behind that? Yeah, I don't know about that. They just want to use a cane because they think it's cool. Okay, first of all, using a cane doesn't even get you any positive attention, but did you know that trans people are way more likely to have a genetic disorder called Ehlers-Danlos syndrome that affects your mobility? Now, what is that, and how could trans people be more likely to have it? Well, new research is showing that autism spectrum disorder is a lot more common than we thought, and it's highly linked to Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, which is a physical disability that affects your mobility. A lot of other recent research has shown that people on the autism spectrum are way more likely to identify as transgender or non-binary. Scientists aren't really sure why this is yet, but autistic people are way more likely to be trans, and autistic people are way more likely to have Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. So don't you think it would make sense that you would see a lot more trans people with disabilities and mobility aids? Okay, but there's still so many of them recently. A bunch of them have to be faking. I know what you mean. There definitely have been a lot more people in the past 5 years or so using mobility aids. But did you know that people with Ehlers-Danlos syndrome are at a much higher risk of developing long COVID or another chronic condition after getting COVID? So in the past 5 years or so, a lot of people with Ehlers-Danlos syndrome have been getting COVID and then they become more disabled and they need a mobility aid. So that might be why you're seeing so many more people with disabilities these days. COVID-related conditions and Ehlers-Danlos syndrome-related conditions have also been getting a lot more awareness recently because people become disabled after COVID and then they look into symptoms of Ehlers-Danlos and then they're able to get properly diagnosed with it because they realize they have it due to the awareness. And same thing with a lot of related disorders. So that's another reason why you see so many people who are disabled or use mobility aids since COVID. I guess that makes sense. I just didn't understand there could be an actual reason why there's so many trans people who are disabled because I thought I was crazy for thinking that. No, I definitely understand where you're coming from and I'm glad you were open to learning a bit more about it.
So today I'm gonna try just getting up, sitting down, 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 getting up.
He's flared and he just started. No, you're flared! You're flared!
I'm actually spinning.
His lower and upper back muscles are extremely fatigued.
No, it's my upper back muscles that are extremely fatigued. Is my lower back is where the nerve damage is.
The nerve damage, right? Okay.
Just letting you guys in on a little secret. Sometimes I don't actually miss the social cues. I just ignore them because I think that they're really stupid. Sorry.
On the topic of, like, if you have 99 problems, but then you have a health problem, you only have one problem, I feel like I need to wake up every day and apologize to people with chronic pain and, like, pray to them and be like, thank you so much for surviving. Because whenever I get in pain, like over the summer, I got an IUD and I had back pain for the first time in my life, like period back pain, if you know what I'm talking about. I only got it once. I was bawling on the couch for like an hour. And I was like, I couldn't breathe from how bad it was. And I was like, how do people live with this? Like, I thought I was going to have to go to the hospital. And then this past week, I got an ear infection. And I was going to try and make it through the night to get to urgent care in the morning so I wouldn't have to pay for the hospital. And I had to go because it was like I had to go to the hospital over an ear infection because the pain was so ear splitting. I thought I was going to die. I don't know how you guys live with it.
After the car crash, my daughter was paralyzed from the waist down. She also can't speak anymore, so it's been a struggle for us.
Have you tried killing her?
What?
Sorry. Have you tried killing her?
No!
Oh, it would be a kindness.
Fuck you! She's not even suffering!
But is she living, though?
Yes!
So you're not gonna kill her?
What the fuck?
Come on! Do it!
She's my daughter! She's a person!
Yeah, but I don't see her as a person.
What?
What's going on? I think you know. It's time. We're having an intervention. For what? For your body. Aren't you exhausted? No. I'm great. How long did it take you to get out of bed today? Not that long. Your alarm went off at 7:45. You snoozed it a total of 5 times in 7-minute increments. Why 7? Hey, I have a system. Okay? And when you finally woke up, you stayed in bed for another hour and 7 minutes. We know you're tired. Just let these guys help. I can't keep holding down the fort. But, you know, you're my... is what? Just say it. My favorite. I swear I will slap you upside the head. I could run you over, but I won't. Look, it's okay. I get it. I'm sleek, fashionable. Hell, I'm awesome. But so are these guys. Yeah, I guess. But with you, I don't seem so... Say it. I don't seem so disabled. Oh, that's a great one. I really needed that. So good. Whether you're me, or me, you're still disabled. There's no hiding this. No reason to. Because it doesn't make you less than. So the question is, who are you trying not to be disabled for? Yourself or others? I mean, it doesn't mean you have to give me up completely. Think of us as a team. The Accessibility Avengers. I guess it would be nice not to be in so much pain. Snoozing in 7-minute increments. Which, speaking of, you're gonna be late. So which one of us will it be?
Understand that when I'm talking about disability inclusion, a crucial dimension of that is cracking us. Okay? If you haven't gone to at least third base with a disabled person in the last calendar year, you're not putting enough movement in the movement. I want you to put your head in the game, literally.
I had an epiphany the other day, and it's gonna sound so funny to say out loud. I have dwarfism. I stand at about 4 feet and 3 inches tall. I am used to walking next to people of average height. Everybody in my family is average height. My boyfriend is average height. Pretty much all my friends are average height. And so when I walk next to them, I'm usually matching their walking pace. So if they are walking faster then I also walk faster. And I learned how to walk pretty fast for my height when I was in college to make sure that I got to classes on time. And so I just thought that I walked fast. But then every time I would get to the destination that I was walking to, I would be out of breath, and also because of my skin condition where I produce more skin cells, I would sweat. So I would get to the destination that I was walking to and I would be sweaty and so out of breath, and it would take me like 5 to 10 minutes to recover from how fast I was just walking. The other day I was walking back to my apartment and I wasn't walking with anybody, I was walking by myself. I was walking fast and I felt myself getting out of breath and I felt myself getting sweaty, and I had this thought and I was like, why am I walking so fast right now? I can walk at my own pace. So I slowed it down, and when I got back to my apartment I realized that I wasn't as sweaty and I wasn't out of breath really at all. And I realized that like the people that I walk next to on a regular basis obviously know I'm disabled, and if I'm walking slower they are gonna match my pace, not the other way around. So I realized that I can actually set my own pace of walking, and I can walk as slow as I need to, or as slow as I feel like I need to, and other people will just follow my lead. For some reason, it was like mind-boggling to me, mind-blowing. I'd never had this epiphany before. If you're disabled and you walk next to average height and non-disabled people all the time, please tell me I'm not alone in this. Does everybody just walk at their own pace naturally? Was I just trying to people please even with my walking? Anyway, let me know.
Why do chronic illnesses come in like groups of 7? Because like it makes me sound like a liar. It sounds so fake. Like if someone asked me to hang out and they're like, do you want to do this, this, and this? And I'm like, ooh, sorry, I can't walk that far because I have POTS. They're like, oh, do you want to go here to eat instead? And I'm like, oh, they don't have anything gluten and dairy free and I have gastroparesis. And they're like, well, maybe let's go to this concert together. And I'm like, so, the thing about that is I have epilepsy. And this is like real. I was diagnosed with a lot of these things when I was like 7 years old. Like, it's embarrassing.
I've been having to use my neck brace more often recently, and my best friend told me that it looks like a torture device, and I kind of agree, so we're gonna decorate it. So I'm gonna use Sharpie to do like designs on the plastic part. Also, I got this idea from my mutual Eric, so I'll tag him in the caption. So I just freehanded some abstract designs with Sharpie, and then I put everything onto the other side as well so that everything would be symmetrical. And I think it turned out really cute. It ended up looking sort of like tattoos, which I really like, and it definitely looks a lot less torturous with all the decorations. So I definitely recommend, because this is a really easy DIY. All you need is a permanent marker.
You burned my house to the ground! My family's dead! What do I do? I'm gonna find you. Fucker, I'm gonna...
Here are a list of things that I don't care if you have or have not experienced if you call yourself disabled or chronically ill, as someone who identifies as both disabled and chronically ill. Caveat, I want to acknowledge that you obviously do not need my validation to use these terms in any way, shape, or form, but I know this would have been really helpful for me to hear when I was earlier on in my journey with being sick all the time, and so I'm putting it out there, but if it's not helpful for you, like, just keep scrolling, that's totally fine. Okay, number 1, I don't care if you're diagnosed or undiagnosed. If you're having symptoms that are impacting your life, that's a valid reason to call yourself chronically ill or disabled. 2, I don't care if you have been to the ER 1,000 times or 0 times, and I don't care if you've spent 1,000 nights in the hospital overnight or 0. I have since done both of those multiple times, and I would really love to unsubscribe from all of those experiences. I hate the ER and I hate being inpatient, but I definitely felt like less validly chronically ill prior to having those experiences, and now having had them, like, they suck. I don't want that, and I was just as validly ill before and after, so like I don't know. 3, I don't care if you have or need like a medical device or use a mobility aid. Cool. Like, don't care. It's fine. Like, either way, if your symptoms are impacting you on a day-to-day or like week-to-week basis, like, your symptoms are impacting you. Like, that's disabled. That's chronic illness. That's disability. However you manage to like cope with it and handle it, and what level of intervention you need, that's between you and your doctor. Like, call it what you need to call it. For similarly, I like don't care what medications you're on or how many you're on or if you're even on any. Like there are so many different ways to handle illness that like it's fine. No, just it's fine. Here's a big one. I don't care if your illness is invisible or visible. My main diagnosis is hypermobile Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. That is a largely invisible illness. Excuse me. Like, I now have a medical device, and some of my symptoms as my disease has progressed have become more noticeable and public, but for the bulk of my life, like, it has been entirely invisible. I was still validly disabled before and after that visibility factor. Doesn't matter. I also don't care about like how many doctors someone has or how many surgeries they've had, like, or how many diagnoses they have. Like hypermobile Ehlers-Danlos syndrome tends to have a lot of comorbidities because it's just that kind of illness where it impacts a lot of different things. But you can also have HEDS and have very few comorbidities. Like that can happen. Or you could have a diagnosis that tends to just be like that one thing. Like number of diagnoses does not equate to level of severity. Also, I don't care if, say, you have the same illness that I have and it looks different for you. Especially for things like HEDS where you have a conglomeration of different comorbidities someone may or may not have. Like each presentation is incredibly different. There are multiple people in my family that also have HEDS and none of them have presentations like me. And none of them have presentations like each other. Like sure, there are some qualities that are the same, but like it's not, like no one else in my family has POTS. I am the only person that has POTS. My POTS is pretty severe. My POTS was the first thing I was diagnosed, like years before my EDS was diagnosed. No one else in my family has POTS. So, like, I'm not going to sit here and compare and be like, my EDS looks like this, so yours should look like that. No, it's different for everyone. Everyone has different bodies. Everyone has different lifestyles. Like, no. Okay, I'm sure there are a ton more. That's what I can think of for right now. Again, reminder, like, you do not need my validation either way. This is just in case, like, if you hearing this helped you feel more valid in the chronic illness and disability community, then, like, welcome. I know those are things that I struggled with, especially before I started getting, like, solid answers, solid diagnoses, and started having what I at least considered to be more quote-unquote, like, stereotypical disabled events where I, like, fainted in public or was in the ER. And now, like, looking back, it's like, no, I was just as validly disabled and chronically ill, like, before those events as I was after. For me, at least in terms of like the literature behind it and how I define disability is if it impacts something in my day-to-day life. That's how I personally define it. And using that definition, looking at my life, I was like, oh, there are like more than one way, like more than one areas of my life that is impacted by my disability on average daily. Let me know if you have questions, if you have more things that you don't care about.
A lot of people don't realize that when you're chronically ill, you need people more than like the average person. And not just for like the physical stuff. Like, yeah, like I need people to like drive me places, and sometimes I need them to like help me cook or clean, like if I'm too sick to do it. But you also need people emotionally more than you did before you got sick, or like more than someone who isn't sick. Because it's like, think about it. Like, you know, when you're like, you have the flu and you like have a fever and you just like want to be around somebody, like you just like want to hug, or like you just like want someone to make you soup, like having the flu or like having a cold and taking care of yourself is hard. Like being alone while you're sick is probably one of the worst feelings. And when you're chronically ill, you feel like that 24/7. Like I'm literally running a fever right now, and I run fevers pretty often because of the way that my illness presents. And like all I want right now is to like be around somebody and like be comforted. But a lot of people can't offer that all the time. A lot of people will see you as like too needy, when in reality you just don't feel good and you just want to be around somebody. Sorry, I'm crying because I have a fever. Like fevers make me cry. Like being physically alone when you're chronically ill is so much more harder than when you're not ill. I just feel like as humans we have this innate desire to be around other people when we're sick because that's how we survive. That's how we connect with others. And unfortunately, being chronically ill means you are isolated from a lot of people. So if you have a loved one that is chronically ill and they are just asking for your time a lot, it's just because they probably don't feel good and they just don't want to be alone. So just try to offer support as much as you can, because it's really hard going through this alone.
Yo, what do you do for a living?
Huh?
What do you do for a living?
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
What do you do for a living?
No.
What do you do
Welcome to the price of disability. Let's play which costs more. My glamorous assistant will show you 2 items and all you have to do is guess which has the bigger price tag. Round 1, this shower stall, perfect for your bathing needs. Or 2 Papa John's pizzas for a night in. Which do you think costs more? Well, they're about the same. This shower stall costs around £25, similar to these pizzas. Round 2, this glamorous ergonomic walking stick or a pair of designer Converse trainers. Which one do you think costs more? It's the walking stick. It retails at £79 compared to £60 for the Converse. Fashion might hurt your wallet, but accessibility hits harder. Time to level up with round 3. This lightweight, ergonomic, sustainably made rollator walker or a weekend city break in the beautiful city of Amsterdam. Which do you think comes with the bigger price tag? It's the rollator. It retails for £449 versus a long weekend at a 4-star hotel in Amsterdam, including flights, is just £355 per person. Accessibility isn't a luxury, but it's priced like one. And for the grand finale, it's the big one. This Rogue 2 custom manual wheelchair or this Kia Picanto automatic car. Any guesses? Of course, it's the wheelchair. This baby is valued at £6,000 compared to the £5,000 that was paid for this car back in 2019. And that's just the equipment. The real shock is that being disabled costs an extra £1,095 every single month on average, just to have the same standard of living as a non-disabled household. Even with benefits, families are still short £630 every single month. So no, we don't get everything for free. Disability comes with a serious price tag. Which of these costs surprised you the most? And let me know what disability myths I should bust next in the comments. And be sure to share this with someone who may also be surprised at the price of disability.
Why don't I ever see pictures of disabled people in history? They were locking them up. Until 1974, there were laws in America that banned people who were considered ugly from going out in public. If you had something as simple as a scar or a limp, you could be ticketed or even sent to prison. The first ugly law was introduced in 1861 in San Francisco, California. The law was introduced in attempts to clean up the streets by targeting the homeless population. A lot of these people targeted were people with visible disabilities, whether they were born with them or whether they were disabled because of illness or war. Over the next several decades, these laws spread like a wildfire around the country, and these laws were enforced, so if you were seen outside with a visible disability, you were either fined, sent to a jail, or transferred to a work farm. It wasn't until 1974 that the ugly laws were eradicated. Chicago was the last place to repeal these laws and make the final arrest. So if you've ever wondered to yourself, why don't I ever see pictures of disabled people in history? They were locking them up. Did you know about the ugly laws? Because it sounds too crazy to believe, but it actually really happens. And if you like learning facts like this, make sure you like and follow to support. And until next time, my name is Aubrey Smalls. This is Dwarfism History. I love you. Keep going.
I wish more people talked about that transition between thinking you're able-bodied and then realizing, oh, no, okay, actually I'm chronically ill and disabled, and what that means for the people around you. Because I don't know about you guys, but when I finally realized I was chronically ill and disabled and got all my various diagnoses like POTS, HEDS, MCAS, and actually started taking my time and treating my symptoms, a lot of people quickly found their way out of my life. The moment I wasn't able to keep up with their expectations, so many people, and these are the people who obviously did not have my best interests at heart, were not my true friends. These are people who just wanted me around to have me around or for whatever it was that I could provide them. All of those people very quickly found an exit because they realized they could not get what they needed or wanted out of me anymore. I quite literally just could not provide it anymore. And once I wasn't worth it to them, once I didn't have those things that they thought were useful, immediately wanted nothing to do with me. And that awakening, realizing how many people don't actually want to be around you for you, is a really isolating experience. It's really heartbreaking, and it's a lot to go through, quite frankly. I mean, you're just now adjusting to this whole new pace of life, but then all of a sudden the people around you are all changing too. Like, it can be really frustrating and really lonely, but I will tell you guys, on the other side of that tunnel, finding the people who actually do give a damn about me, who actually do have my best interests at heart, who do care and listen and want to show up for me and support me, has been so monumentally helpful when it comes to managing everything, my conditions, my life, my mental health, all of it. All of this to say, if you're going through this process yourself, you've been realizing the people around you are showing their true colors, and you've been feeling really isolated or alone, I promise you, this is not just you. This is a transition many of us have to go through when we realize that we just can't keep that same pace that we used to. And yes, it can be very frustrating, but I promise you, there is a light on the other end of that tunnel. There are people who truly want to know you, to understand you, to be your friend, to support you and uplift you, and those people are going to be worth the world once you meet them. And trust and believe, once you do finally find them, they can be rare, they can be hard to find, but once you do finally find them, it is so hard to lose them.
You know, one of my favorite games is the game where you go to the doctor and they treat you like the stupidest person ever, but at the same time expect you to have answers. But then when you come up with answers, they once again treat you like the stupidest person ever because there's no way that you could come up with answers. So you go to the doctor, you tell them how you feel. The first thing they say is you need to drink water. And you're like, well, actually, I drink a lot of water. I'm basically a Great Wolf Lodge at this point. I'm so well hydrated. And then the second thing they do is they try to tell you that it's your anxiety because they see anxiety on your chart. And you want to scream because you know how anxiety shows up in your body. So you start going through your symptoms again because you need to tell them how these symptoms are different from how anxiety shows up. And they stop you because remember you're stupid. And they say, do you understand what being sore means? Because sore is one of your symptoms. And you think to yourself, I think I know what being sore means. And they go, sore means that your muscles ache. And you want to scream because you did in fact know what sore means. And you go, right, so that's one of the things that I feel. So I feel like it's different than anxiety. And then they say to you, well, then what do you think it is? And you look up at the wall to make sure it's not your name in front of the diploma with the MD, that it's not your name there. Because 2 minutes ago, you were explaining to me what sore is. But now I'm smart enough to be able to diagnose it. So you come up with some ideas. You say, well, maybe it's this and maybe it's that. And then they go, whoa, you've been on Google. And you want to scream again because you just asked me for what my thoughts are. So you say, well, maybe a blood test. And so then they say to you again, well, what blood test do you want to order? I love this game. I love this game so much. The game where you're both stupid but supposed to know everything. Love it!
Cool. Can you give me a sec?
Alan, we are so...
Okay, well then it's not gonna be a conversation. So let me take my chain off.
Wait, no, wait.
No, like it's not gonna be a conversation.
Hello?
Ho, the things that you've lied about.